Good afternoon, everybody in Hangout Land. Hi, I'm Elaine Nieberding, and you are watching, I think it's the 14th episode of the Holy Shift Show. And we gather together here for lively conversation, engaging together, both live and replay in the comment stream, in our film strip, to help support each other, moving through these dynamic times in life with a little bit more connection, caring, and feeling good. Finding those solutions to the challenges in our lives. So today's show is called C Words. No, we're not doing F words today, except for welcoming the flock of people who happen to be watching live or replay. Hello, everybody. We're glad you're here. But today's show is C Words. We're talking about challenge and challenges and the choices we make to take on new challenges. Let's call it, we're primarily focusing on voluntary challenges that we're going to take on to either gain new skills, grow relationships, experience relationships in a new way, and expand perhaps our self-awareness, expand our health and wellness, and expand our sense of living from our core out in the world. So today I have with me a great panel. I'm just going to flip by each of them and just say hi and tell us where you're hanging out from. Heidi Hornline.
Hello, I'm hanging out from Italy and it's dark and late already in the evening. That's fine. I'm happy to be here with you who are still in the whole day.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. And way, 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 way far away, on the other side of the continent that I'm on, which is North America, is Karen V. Chin. Hi, Karen. Tell us where you're hanging out from.
I'm out here in sunny California, and I'm looking forward to the show today, Elaine.
Great, thanks. And right on over, next is Kristen Drysdale. Kristen, tell us where you're hanging out from today.
Hey, I'm in Queen Creek, Arizona.
Queen Creek, Arizona. And Kristen, we see you all over Google+. We're so glad you're on the Holy Shift Show. It was among the earliest hangouts that I was doing in 2014 where we got acquainted. You came on and actually laughed with me. So we've both gone different places in Hangout Land and G+ since then. I'm really happy you're here with me.
Thank you.
And now I want to say hi to Roland. Roland, you're going to have to say your name for me so I can pronounce it right for the benefit of myself and all my lovely viewers.
Yes, because historically nobody pronounces my name right. And it's the funny thing is it's the simplest thing I can imagine because all the A's are all the same. I've got T's, K's, and A-O in my name is Takaoka. It's really the easiest thing, but people think that there's something exotic has to be implied, and so they stumble on it.
You know what, Roland? As I see your name, Takaoka, I think, hallelujah, Takaoka, Takaoka, Takaoka. And now I've got it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so folks, if you're watching the Holy Shift Show for the first time, we have fun on this show. We play a lot. I love to play with words. So once again, the focus of our show today is challenge and challenges and the choices that we make about experiencing challenges. And first off, I'd like to mention that this topic came up because of two reasons. First off, my entry into Google Plus world happened because I chose to take a course about doing Hangouts and was paying for it, and it was in a challenge format. And there's also a community in it, and I gained so much from it. Well, of course, now I'm doing Hangouts often, and I love them, and I feel like I'm finding my voice here. But it was having that experience to take a challenge and grow within a community that was so important to me. And then recently, I came to meet Karen V. Chin, who was creating this challenge called the 28 Days of Love. Well, for those of you who know me, I like talking about love. I like encouraging people to connect with that core place and let that drive their life for the greatest experiences of connection and fulfillment. And anyway, Karen did a great challenge. So Karen, I want to invite you to come on and talk to us about the evolution of being on G+ and evolving your own experiences with challenges so that then you're moved to create one.
Thanks, Elaine. Well, I guess, how do I say it? I mean, I got 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I could talk for hours on this topic. But I have literally been on G+ for about 4 months now. Late in the game in social media for various reasons, and came on because I literally got laid off in 2011. Started social media in terms of Facebook and Pinterest and Instagram and Twitter and all those accounts. But came on to Google+ because I was literally taking a social media strategy program, and one of the courses was Google+. September came around, and the course was basically talking, as you said, HOAs, and I didn't understand or couldn't grasp how the course was being taught. That an HOA, in that definition, was basically a souped-up Skype on steroids, where you could draw mustaches, wear tiaras, work together in a work sense with 10 people on a film strip, but it really didn't show the power, which I knew that there was something there that wasn't there, that when I did a Google search, lo and behold, I saw Martin Shervington, because he is very, very popular, as everyone knows here on Google+. He's like the Google+ expert. Looked him up, got onto his Pleasure Business Academy, and that's kind of how I started. One of the things that Martin teaches is that you have to be able to create your own original content. So November came around, and I had to figure out what to do. Didn't really know what to say, because when you're on Facebook, you're really talking about your family, or your what you ate or what you did, but really what kind of content should you create. So I searched and I looked for a 30-day photography challenge, and that's kind of the start of my challenge quest, as I call it. I literally have been now on 3 challenges, and so 30 days came about when I did photography. In November, December was the gratitude or thank you challenge. January was the challenge on my own personal challenge, was 30 days of inspiration, where I took my photography and my inspirations or quotes that I found online and kind of put them together. And then February came about, where I thought, why not create something where I can thank the community, because I was getting such great engagement, meeting people all over the world using this platform, starting to work with others in a work sense in terms of professional relationships. So I thought, why not kind of share my experiences, and that's kind of how the 28 Days of Love Challenge came about, because the idea is, Elaine, as you mentioned, it's easy, I find, to talk about things that you love about. And that's the start of it, where you learn how to kind of write basic, I think it's basic, but you guys in the community, you guys can, Elaine and Roland and Heidi can talk further, that I only wanted minimum of 2 lines in a photograph, but you guys are taking it far beyond my ideas of what posting is like, where you guys are really getting into it. And the community, as you mentioned, going to be talking about shortly, is combining that, where I did not have that in my other challenges, and bringing the people together who are working on the challenge together for a place where they can actually talk and meet and chat. And I think there are actually some folks in the community who are going off and meeting via video chats themselves, and I think some of them are actually going to have actual, I think that the term is HIRLA, but Hangouts.
Hangout in real life.
Yeah, Hangouts in real life. They're going to actually do that at the end of the month. But we did, as you mentioned, we did have a community hangout over the weekend, so that people can actually start seeing what they actually look like versus the kind of the little circles which you have on Google Plus. So that's kind of where the gist of where I'm at this moment with the challenge.
So to recap, you started out learning about G Plus within the context of a course. You wanted to grow your own content. You did a photo challenge, a gratitude challenge, an inspiration challenge, and then thought, maybe I could grow my own following even more and deepen my sense of connection by creating a challenge. And so it's the 28 Days of Love. Yeah?
Yeah, but I wasn't even thinking about growing my own following. My following had just exploded. But
well,
it's more just my thing was just to thank the community overall because of how much I was having with the relationship building and meeting people literally from all over the world, and the idea of able to work with one another, which blew my mind because when I was on G Plus or any other social media platform, I was just thinking local. I wasn't thinking global, and now this thing has just in my mind imploded with just like it's out there.
One of the reasons I'm bringing up this whole thing about evolution and noticing your own thing, plus for those who might be viewing, if you're a coach, if you're a teacher, if you're a marketer, you might want to be exploring this idea of inviting people to participate in challenges. Again, I took the Hangout Marketing Challenge. That was a course. I was paying, Did that influence my commitment more? Some, but mostly it was the sense of community. Right now, I want to jump on over to Kristen Drysdale because, Kristen, you've been all over G+, but you've also been involved in some community moderation, and I'm sure have perspectives on both being in community and dealing with challenges.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's always challenges, and it's always helpful when you find that other person who has the same kind of schedule as you and is passionate about moving things forward. I've really found that with Erin Segal. We're all the time like just working here and there and just sending notes and links, and it's just about finding that person that you work well with. Even just two people with passion can be a force behind something and really drive it somewhere. Yeah, so what else?
Okay, I'm going to skip away from that for a minute. I know we'll be talking later with you more about community, but I want to acknowledge the people participating live in the Hangout. We see some of them in the comment stream, and the first ones that I'm going to mention are folks that are actually participating in this 28 Days of Love Challenge. We have Missy J, Richard Clarkson, we have Aslan Bloor. Let's see. Those are among the ones in our challenge who are here today.
Michael
Thomas is also here. And the other folks that I want to acknowledge are Jamie McConaughey, who's on the same Skywire show that I'm on, and Katrina Fancook. You'll also see her on that Hangout on Air on Thursdays. And Nicole Levac, who's a friend from the HPT community. She says, hello, Adelaide Hornline. So lovely to... Oh, trying to pin this. So lovely to see you. Hello to Kristen Drysdale and Elaine Nieberding that I've already met, and to Karen Chin and Roland Takaoka. There we go. Anyway, so this is what we do out here in Hangout Land. We connect. If you're watching a Hangout for the first time on G+, excuse me, via YouTube, you can actually comment there, and those comments will show up for us, and we can respond to them. And if you're watching live on a Hangout for the first time, yes, get to know, get curious about the other people who are watching the show along with you. This is how we connect and make friendships. And let's see. Heidi, you had a comment pinned earlier. Was it one that I already referred to? Heidi.
This was
Okay.
of Richard Clarkson, and now I have unpinned it, but he says, what did he say? Something about that his first challenge was in the show of Melanie Hall to be live on an Hangout, and now the challenge, which we are here together with Karen. So
Yeah, and so Richard, we did see you a few days ago in the community hangout, and I hope we can see more of you on Hangouts as well. So let's talk about this idea of accepting a challenge. The way a challenge is posed or marketed or highlighted, what the requirements are, what you might gain out of it, how that's presented could have a difference between who it attracts and then whether someone actually feels like they might want to follow through and participate. Karen, let me ask you a little bit about how you, once again, designed the 28 days, and I think you were saying something like you wanted people to feel like it didn't necessarily have to take a lot of time to make the commitment.
Yeah, I mean, the basis of the challenge, I didn't want to stress people out because I know that's one of the things about challenges is that you feel so overwhelmed that I want to do it, but I don't know if I can commit to it. So the idea was basically to take photos that you had on your phone. You didn't have to take, you know, pictures of that day, but I mean, if we're talking about your loves, it's pretty easy that it's pretty much probably on your phone. And basically writing 2 sentences describing what that love is and a couple of hashtags. So when I did the test myself, it basically took about 15 minutes of time. But I know that for some who really got into the challenge, it's been more than 15 minutes. But you're enjoying it and you're loving what you're doing, and it's also building a lot, I think, in terms of creativity that one didn't know that they had. Like for me, when I started my challenges, I didn't know I had such a love for my iPhone and taking pictures and going through that, and then building on that. We're I think that Elaine, as you have done, you know, including links and several photos, and then you're like creatively using I don't know whether you're using Canva, PicMonkey, or Share's Image, but you're graphically putting text onto your photos too. So there's many ways of how to look at this challenge, where it's not just having it posting it, but actually how you can expand on your creativity.
Yeah. Let me jump on over here to Roland, because I really haven't, besides saying his name, gotten him to speak. Roland, you have a lot of sun on your face now. We're almost blinded by the light.
Yeah. And
anyway,
I apologize for that.
So tell me about your experience with this challenge. I mean, my witness of you is that for some of these 28-day topics, you're writing volumes. Other days, you're a little bit more concise, but it seems to have really drawn you in, and you're engaging with, like, everybody. I love it.
What I had no idea I was getting into was the involvement and engagement factor of learning about people from all over the world. And, you know, I virtually didn't know anybody except for maybe one person prior to the challenge, and I came about 4 days late, so I, of course, jumped in there, rushed in there, and did the minimum on the 4 days, and got, you know, kind of caught up. And then I started reading, because it's not just, you know, it shows you vividly that social media is not just about posting to your Facebook page. It's engaging, and to do that, you have to read about it, read what other people are expressing, and just absorb more and learn and get to know them, and ultimately you're making friends, because this is interactive. It's an interactive game, you know, and when you know more about people, they get more comfortable and you get more comfortable, and so the expression as the time goes on gets more and more intense, and that's what's happening in the Hangout.
I want to jump back in and say I really like that you're using the word engagement. In fact, somewhere, whether this is in your profile or somewhere else, you even use the words engagement marketing, which is like a different twist on like relationship marketing. I like that. And I want to open this now on up to Heidi or anybody else on the panel, really to even explore this idea of engagement marketing via a challenge format and community building. You're nodding, Kristen?
Yeah, so you're speaking about gamification.
Ooh.
Really?
Ooh, yeah.
I know you know that one. Yeah, I mean, that is so key, because what is going to set you apart from everybody else is how fun you make something, because that's what brings someone back, is if they're involved with it. And for a lot of things, it's, I mean, so you have your communities where it's not about fun, and you need to have someone where you can reach out to and talk about serious issues. And so that's going to bring you back, because you're going for resources. But the resource of fun is always going to be amazing and just build your audience like nothing. And so that's what you have to do. You have to figure out what your angle is and how you're going to play it and how you're going to entice people to engage.
Kristen, that's beautiful. I'm noticing a couple other people here. Sherry Valentine is here. I missed her before. Hi, Sherry. And now I see that Terry Lee Britton is here, and he is saying, this entire subject of challenges is entirely new to me. What a fascinating way of getting us off our duffs and creating and sharing. Well, I love that. And once again, talking back about the course that I took, this Hangout Marketing course, they actually had like a tally board. Every week when you completed certain tasks, you earned points. If you were clicking on that you'd completed the tasks, you'd have an automatic tally. And you could actually jump on over to a leaderboard and see, gee, who else was really playing a lot? Who was advancing? Who was learning stuff? And some of the challenge activities would have you interacting with each other to earn points. So you're absolutely right. It's the word Christopher Vogelman would love us hearing us say, gamification. Let's really include the fun element to keep people growing, connecting, learning, and hopefully connecting with their hearts along the way. Heidi, I want to jump on over to you now. And can you address this whole thing about really connecting from the level of the heart? Now, Karen's challenge overtly had to do with finding things that you love and sharing those things that you love. Mm-hmm. But some other challenges might not be so overtly about hearty stuff, but yet I would think if we're going to fully play the game, if we're playing from that deep place of the heart, it might bring the most blessing to both ourselves and everybody.
Yeah, I would like first to say the first challenge I did, it was maybe half a year ago, a little more, and Katrina, who is here in the audience, she invited me to it. It was 5 days, the slice of my life. And I knew Lisa Engels and Katrina, and these were the only people. But still, it gave me quite a bit insight. When you have to do this 5 days long, it was really a good experience first for me, and now we are friends, no? Katrina, we know each other well. And now here, this challenge for me is even more profound, because it's not only 5 days. It's a much longer time, and so you really get to know the people. And as you said, many people write a novel, like Roland, for instance, but also other people. And they have the possibility for themselves to refine their writing skills and see the effect. And there were several posts where I felt really drawn into, you know, the first paragraph, and then I thought, oh, it's long, but no, I read it because I liked it, you know. This is a wonderful way for people to learn to write. first of all, and for to attract people. And as you said, with engagement marketing, there is something here to learn about it. And as was said before, you feel more comfortable when you already have seen the other person has responded to you, and we have exchanged ideas and perspectives. So we a little bit know each other, and it's almost as if we really know each other, you know. So.
Yeah, I wanted to actually talk about that, Heidi and Roland. Back to that whole gamification. I've never heard of that term, so this is actually a really great learning here, just to even understand what the concept is. The idea I thought of creating a challenge was to have fun. That's one thing, but one of my other underlying challenges that I thought would be interesting to see, just as from within my own head, and it's now coming into fruition, is that we're here globally. I mean, we've got people all over the world listening to this this HOA at this moment. And the idea is that we have a lot more in common than we think. I mean, I know for some of the challenges, like yesterday, we talked about oranges and avocados to no end, and that you can have someone from the UK like Missy loving avocados. You can have Lon McClure, who's not, I don't think he's here today, but he is up in New York, and talk about avocados, share recipes about avocados. You know, I mean, I know it sounds silly. I mean, Elaine and her coconut milk, but the idea is that now when you see people with their circles, their little tiny circles, as I call them, you also can associate, word association. Like, I know Elaine now. Every time I see her, it's Elaine, Holy Shift Show, coconut milk. This is the 3 things I will remember of Elaine. But it also brings together too, because as Heidi and Roland you've talked about, is that you can say as little or as much, and then the engagement that you get from within the threads, I find so fascinating, because it goes off to different tangents. You know, we're not just talking about avocados. We can go off and talk about, as Elaine, what she does with her coconut milk story, is we talked about HOAs. So it's just the start of a topic, but yet you bring out that engagement and you can expand on that. And I think that idea of learning about each other and each other's cultures has been, to me, a phenomenal experience, by just learning just a little bit about something that, even for some of them who've joined the community who may have known each other a little bit, I think now we can all agree we know more about each other than even ourselves, and even within ourselves we know more about each other because we've gone through 17 days of this. Yeah. I would think, I would ask that of the audience. I mean, and audience and of the panel. What do you guys think?
I think there is also this part that people write from their experience, and then in me, for instance, it brings up something, oh yeah, there was something in my life. And it is sort of a co-creation of a global story, let's say. By everybody takes a part, and then something new comes out by me or by somebody else, and at the end we have, in one thread, we have created a whole story together.
I'm looking back, I'm scrolling through the comments, and Richard Clarkson, I can't find the exact one, but he was saying, you get in this community, in the challenge, you start responding to others, and after a while, it just feels like a mind meld. And I might say maybe it feels like a heart meld. Once you're in a space that feels really comfortable and safe, you just find yourself opening up more, sharing more, discovering more about yourself in the process. But the truth is, it always comes back to making the choices about how much you want to reveal, how often you want to participate. I have to honestly say that with 45 people in this challenge, everybody, well, let's say 2/3 of the people are posting something every day. It is a challenge just to keep up with the posts and respond to some of them. I honestly realize I can't respond to all of them. And I want to do more than just +1 everybody. You know, I want to make a deeper connection. So I'm allowing myself to not beat up on myself. It's my choice. If some days I just don't get to reading as many as I might. Kristen?
Yeah, I wanted to, I don't think that we brought this up, but being one of John Keldon's girls, I have to bring up the whole thing about the meta tag and how that makes it so much easier to find things, because sometimes it's just like it gets so overwhelming. You have like all these notifications, and just by using a search for a specific meta tag, like 28 days of blah blah blah, you know, then it groups them all together. And how wonderful is that to just be able to go through and organize your notifications in that way? So I just want to pull that out there.
I'm thrilled that you brought up the whole thing about hashtags, because it occurs to me in my own participation about half the time all the time I include the hashtags about the 28 Days of Love challenge. Some of the time I post, I remember, oh, gee, this one's about coconuts. I could hashtag coconut milk or something. All of us can be learning how to use hashtags in this challenge. Absolutely.
It's so much power too. I even use them like in a way, like if I want to come back to something but I don't have time to like put it into something, or maybe I have 100 tabs open and I'm like afraid that if I try to, you know, do one more operation, put one more in there, then I'm gonna like lose it and Chrome is gonna crash. So I'll just hashtag it with something that I can come back to later and I can find it that way. It's a great little note-taking system.
Yep. Right now, just as a Hangout host, I'm talking to my Filmstrip viewers. I had Kristen whiteboxed, but she didn't. There she showed up. Anyway, I don't know what was happening for you, but let me just jump on over to Karen, and I'm going to ask you to just continue the conversation while I review some of the stuff in the comment stream.
So yeah, I mean, I think hashtags are really important. I mean, that's how I kind of keep it together in terms of trying to figure out what everyone's doing, because I not only am looking within the community, but we also have other people outside of the community who are still taking the challenge. Some of the rules of joining the communities, you could not be a blue face or use an avatar, that you actually had to use your face. So some folks out there are not comfortable with that. The idea also too is that, you know, for example, I know we're beating up on Roland, but Roland writes really prolific, and he basically gives it his all. But for some people, writing is hard, and also the privacy level of how much information you want to put out there, because once you put it out there on Google Plus, it's out there. It's it's archived. I mean, if someone actually searched for your name, they're going to see these things. So those are some of the things that I kind of make sure that the community is just always kind of making aware of, that when you post out on Google Plus or just any other social media platform, you really have to kind of take in consideration what you're posting, making sure that you're not using any profanity or using any imagery that is not appropriate, so that one day if someone actually looks up for your name, and it may be a recruiter or maybe a future employer or a future, girlfriend or boyfriend, you just don't want to have stuff out there that could make you look, bad. So that's kind of the things that we talk about. So along the way, as the challenge is progressing, I have personally provided kind of Google tips along the way, coaching individuals to help them write better posts, even stylistically and visually. So the usage of bolding and italicizing and making sure there's paragraphs between their text, so that it's just easy to read. I know Roland's
so much to learn, little time, Karen.
Yeah, and it's so interesting too within the community itself, and I didn't realize that there's just different levels of people who are on the challenge, who have mastered using and what to use on Google Plus. So that to me has been a really great learning experience about just seeing where everyone's at. And I think everyone can say that they are learning, and it is a learning process, and every day you're going to be learning something new, whether you like it or not. But it's a good thing. I mean, to me, as they say,
Karen, I got to preempt you here because my time's running out, and there are some gems in the comment stream.
Okay.
I must bring them up. I feel so lame now. Hashtag. I've never used a hashtag.
Yeah, right. Terry mind meld.
And this
Me
one,
either, Lee.
and this one, Marcus Dieterle saying, Terry Lee Britton, try the new hashtag everyday challenge. Hey, Kristen,
Yeah.
this might be right up your alley.
You still like a thing.
Yeah, I know you're already involved in community moderation regarding hashtags.
Oh,
But
yeah.
have you ever thought about, putting out a challenge related to hashtags, or I don't know?
Oh gosh. Okay. So, well, Peter Hatherley's #plus community. I'm a moderator in there, and of course he had SICE come out, and so he's just like barely kind of coming off of that. Like once you have a product launch, it's like you have all these things you have to work out. So everyone, look out. We are going to be having some awesome challenges coming.
Wow, this is great. I also want to say hello to a few more people who have showed up to watch the show. Jeremy Murphy, who is appreciating my coconut love stuff, and William Rock. William, mwah, always great when you're with us. And Debbie Forand and Matthew. I wrote his name down. Anyway, there's a Matthew here. Matthew, thank you for being here with us. So, once again, I will say to my audience, time flies by so quickly. It's now 37 minutes after the hour, and I want to give all my guests an opportunity to say a little more, share either an awareness, a thought, or something else. And Roland, I hardly got you to speak very much. So, Roland, you're going to do this first, and at the end, please also tell us where folks can get in touch with you and about your new Hangout series.
Well, thank you, Elaine. I've had, first of all, a lot of fun listening to the interaction, and I know that we're going to be having more of these, whether they're broadcast or not. But I really appreciate the fact that you brought up the engagement marketing thing. I've been feeling like, some of you will attest to the fact that I've said I've really felt like the Lone Ranger this last year or two, because I'm speaking this language, and in the midst of an advertising, commercial, traditional marketing world, talking about engagement marketing, and they're looking at me like, get out of the way. You are speaking a language, you don't belong here. And they're all wanting to put their mark, their advertisement in front of people's faces and just let people respond. And it's no longer that kind of a world. So I say the slogans that I have are outbound is out, which is outbound is traditional marketing, and inbound is in. And that is engagement marketing, things that draw people to you because they're curious, they want to know, and that's the natural spirit of things. But I really appreciate that. I'm not feeling like the Lone Ranger quite so much anymore, and I'm sure I don't use the word internet marketing so much because when I talk about it, I mean engagement marketing. And it should be, whether you're online or not, it should be engagement marketing.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Relative to this community, I'm just thrilled that it brought as much out at me because I know I'm a prolific writer. I know I love to chat. It's not an ego thing. I just love to express myself. I love to play with words. So it was an opportunity for me to do that, and I appreciate when other people spend the time and write about it and put their actual feelings behind what they're expressing, and that has really given the community so much more depth of spirit that you can't find in a Facebook clan who are throwing little tidbits of this and that to people. This is much, much better. This is real, true engagement.
Thank you so much. I also want to give a quick shout out to Candy Javier Sakai. I think she's over in Hong Kong, or Japan. Oh, Tokyo. Tokyo. I think it's Tokyo. The only hashtag I only used is my own, CJS and VPT and LPWW. Candy, I'm glad you popped in to join us today. Thank you. Now, let me find this to unpin it. Hold on. Oh, the hassles of Hangout hosts. Guess what? I'm going to jump on over to Kristen. Kristen, give us your final reflections, and I'm waiting for you to come back up on the screen. There you go. And how folks can get in touch with you.
Okay. First, I wanted to say that yes, Candy's in Tokyo, and she has our virtual photo walkers in Tokyo. So she has a G+ profile, and she's amazing work. She's been here for a long time, and she's a girl to keep your eyes on. Let me tell you. Yeah. So you can find me anywhere on Google+, pretty much anywhere. I do get a lot of notifications, and I try really hard to respond to all of them. So if it's not right away, it will come, but just please be patient. I also have 6 kids, so you know, that's a challenge right there too. But yeah, so I'm just really excited, and I loved Roland's "Outbound is out and inbound is in." I think that is just an awesome little slogan there. It's all about the engagement.
Okay, thank you, Kristen. Thank you for joining me today. Moving on over to Karen Chin. Karen, it's really all because of you that I was doing this Hangout, so my hat's off to you. Final thoughts, and how can we get in touch with you?
Well, it's easy. I mean, if we're Google+, you just have to look up my name, Karen V. Chin. It's there. And I think with Martin, I'm not Martin. I keep calling you Martin, Roland. I don't know why, but I keep doing it. I don't know. You're not Martin. But Roland, I mean, engagement marketing. It is an interesting thing. I'm just seeing also Debbie out there, Foran. She's also saying that in her mind, she thought of engagement marketing as either networking or advocacy. And to me, I think what is shown to me with this challenge is that building relationships, I think, is key. I mean, you have to build the relationships. You have to have that in before you can do anything, whether it's you know, building on a business afterwards or selling a product. I think that connection and watching people connect within the community, talking about products and services just because you're just adding to the conversation. That to me is what it's all about. So I am really appreciative about this, and I think the other things that other people have asked me is there another challenge coming for me? And yes, there is. Sometime either in mid-March to early April, there will be another challenge. It won't be as long as the 28-day challenge, but it will be one, hopefully maybe a 2-week one. And it's a really good topic, at least in my head, that I think people would be truly, truly engaged and having a fun time with the topic.
Okay, so you've got us curious. That's another C word. That's another C word. And I would like to ask Kristen, if you would be so kind, could you find the link that's in the Hangout chat to come into the Hangout room, which we call the Flocka room. And after we end the broadcast, if some of you would like to come in and continue chatting with us, you might. And then, Kristen, I know you actually have to fly because you're helping with another Hangout momentarily. So thank you. Let me hop on over now to Heidi. Final words, Heidi.
My last words. For me, being on Google Plus is so far not so much about marketing or something. Engagement, yes. And what I have found to have, you know, this connection, which it's all about connections. Also, my shows are about connections. The one is really called Connections, which I do with Margarita, where on Thursday, Elaine will be our guest, while the other one is the Wisdom Factory, and it's tomorrow, and it's also connecting people who have wisdom and knowledge and experience to share with the world. So it's all about connections primarily for me, and what will come out of that, hopefully something beautiful, you know.
Yeah.
So
indeed, it's all about the connections. So what are some of those, you know, key words and concepts that have come up today? Well, we've talked about getting involved in a challenge, and you get more out of it if you make a commitment to it. And you really do get to choose how you want to live that commitment. But being in community is a wonderful experience, engaging, connecting more deeply, and that if you really come into the experience from your core, it blesses you and everyone else. And then, of course, we've talked about hashtags and gamification. And when this broadcast ends, I'm going to have to feel into whether I actually want to continue this conversation next week, really talking about the whole gamification kind of thing, and even setting up courses that involve challenges. Again, coaches, teachers, sometimes use this format to get people engaged, and because of the engagement, actually have an experience of success, and not just having an experience of paying money for a course and then not sticking with it. How many of us have done that? I have. So, my last plug, yes, you can see me on Thursday of this week. That is the 19th of February on the Connections Forum, and we're going to be talking about getting out of the blahs. If it's February and there are some things that you're not feeling so perky about, how can you make a shift? So some of you know I do laughter stuff, so come and watch that show. We'll be doing some live, intentional, unconditional laughing for health and wellness. I'd like to sign off now. I do want to once again thank my fine panel, Heidi Hornline from thepowerofrelationship.com, Karen V. Chin on Google+, Kristen Drysdale on Google+, our hashtag lady, Roland Takaoka from the R&D hotline. And I'm Elaine Nieberding. This is the Holy Shift Show. We'd love for you to come on into the Flocker Room. And if it's not yet posted in the comment stream, we'll be doing that shortly. And do join us. Sayonara, folks.